Hi everyone, and welcome to the Beaver County Softball Network. My name is Bill Littler. I'm the founder and program manager of BCSN. The first thing I want to do is I want to thank everyone who has helped this network in some way or another. There was, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so now. And anytime you watch a video on there, I need you to like it. I also want to thank everyone on Facebook who, if you're on that platform, thank you for, following the network, following the page, liking anything I post, sharing things that I post. All that is very helpful as well. I do have a presence on Twitter and Instagram. So if you are also on those platforms, please follow me there as well. I also want to thank anyone who has donated to the network. So we have several sponsors that I would like to thank personally. Then I also have a lot of people who donated items that were purchased off the BCSN Amazon wish list. No matter what they were all very helpful. They were things that I need for the broadcast. I'm getting real close of having everything that I need to make sure that this podcast, the network is as good as I want it to be. So, again, thank you for all that. And also anyone who has donated any kind of money to the network through our Venmo account. So we have a Venmo account. It's BC Softball Network. You can send any type of monetary donations. And I just want to thank everyone who has done that up to this point. We're also going to have fundraisers throughout the year. So our first fundraiser will be a Super Bowl prop fundraiser. You'll see more details once we get closer to the Super Bowl. And then, we're going to try to do the March Madness poll. Also the Women's College World Series, I'm going to try to do a poll for that. And then, of course, the NFL Survivor Pool, we'll try to do that as well. The intent of those fundraisers are to help fund the network, but also grow it to a point where we can actually have scholarship fund money for Beaver County softball players who are attending college. So that's our plan with that anyway. As far as today's episode, I know you guys want to watch it. We originally wanted to start releasing episodes on January 1st. So January 1st is the episode 1. It's called The Introduction. And that's going to be a lot about what the Beaver County Softball Network is and, the ideas behind it, how we're doing it, and, how we're funding for it. So a lot of that information is going to be in that episode. That's all still staying the same. And then we'll have episode 2 behind that and episode 3. But what we did was this episode was originally episode 4, and we had moved it to episode 0. So we're releasing it today, which today is going to be Christmas Day, whenever this is released. So I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and I hope you enjoyed your Christmas holiday with your family. And I know everyone's really looking forward to seeing this episode. It's a very powerful episode with a very strong message. I tried to make it as entertaining as I could, so I hope it keeps your attention throughout the entire podcast. I'm trying to keep these podcasts between 10 and 15 minutes long, but due to the amount of information that we had for this one is over 30 minutes. So I hope I had put it together to an interesting, process, and hopefully it keeps your attention and you guys can watch the entire thing and then enjoy it. Please, again, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so, and please like this video if you like it. At the end of the video. So with that, I give you episode 0, LB22 Legacy. I'm joined here with Richele Hall, a Beaver County alumni. Richele graduated from Riverside in 2003. You're obviously a very good softball player in high school. Did you play summer ball, and what teams did you play for back then?
I did. I played for the Alley Cats, which they're not around anymore, but they actually were like almost like a team that was in Beaver County. I played for the Pittsburgh Pride, and then I finished my travel ball with the Pittsburgh Spirit is who I finished with, and that's the organization that helped me get recruited.
So you got recruited at St. Francis, and you played up there for 4
Yep.
years. I'm looking up the stats and stuff on our website, and I noticed that you were injured.
I did. So I went there in the fall of 2003, and then I didn't play my sophomore season because I broke my ring finger on my throwing hand, and I had to have a couple surgeries. I was out for 9 months, so I redshirted that season.
Okay, and then after St. Francis, you started coaching. Your coaching
Helped coaching the softball team there as well for 2 seasons.
Okay, then, and how did you find yourself up in Rhode Island?
A coach that I played for at St. Francis for 2 of my years there was actually the head coach at URI, and had asked me to come up and be her assistant.
Okay, then you came back in the area and started coaching at South Fayette. And is that when you crossed paths with?
So I knew LB since she was like 10 or 11. I got to know her a lot better, when she got a little bit older. But she actually played for the Pittsburgh Lady Roadrunners before she was with Team Pennsylvania. And for those that don't know, I actually was with the Pittsburgh Lady Roadrunners at one point too before I was with Team Pennsylvania. So I knew her from being on a younger team there, not as much from being at South Fayette.
Okay. Then at your first college head coaching position was at Wayne.
Yep, I was a head coach at Waynesburg for 4 years. And at the same time I started at Waynesburg is whenever I came over to Team Pennsylvania and started coaching their like gold showcase level team at the 18U level. So I started with Team PA and at Waynesburg at the same time. I was at Waynesburg for 4 years. It just got to be just a lot, and Team PA had my heart more than anything. So, it was really, I had to make a decision and, ultimately chose to stay with Team Pennsylvania and resign at Waynesburg.
You ended up taking over Team Pennsylvania from Sean?
Yeah. Right. Sean Gray. Yeah. So Olivia Gray played ball at Pitt. Sean is the founder of Team Pennsylvania. Okay. And he's the one that, brought me on board to coach a team. And then a few years later asked me, my thoughts on taking over the organization. And because he really had liked the networks that I had made and what I had done, in my few years of just coaching in the organization and the leadership that I had provided. He liked the direction that, I was going and really felt that it was best, for me to take the organization over. Okay,
then I can't wait to ask you this question. What is it that drives you to donate your time and sacrifice so much for these girls?
Yeah. You know what? My family asks me the same things a lot of the times too, because, I obviously make a lot of sacrifices and, miss a lot of family events. I love the game, my passion is there for the game, and that obviously is never going to go away. I'm super passionate about it. More than that, I think I'm more passionate about seeing these kids achieve their goals. And ultimately, the goal for our organization for, a kid coming up and coming through is, achieving their ultimate goal of playing at the next level, whether that be Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA, whatever they feel, just helping them reach that goal, to me, so rewarding, helping these families, get scholarships to help pay for their daughter's school, and just to, just see the joy, just the pure joy, when they find, the school that's their perfect fit. I think that's just, that's why I do it. And that's why I invest so much of my time and effort. And it means a lot to me when they, reach that ultimate goal of theirs. We've been very fortunate with, the amount of kids that we've been able to put into programs, different programs throughout the region. It warms my heart, really. So the
key word's trust the process, right?
Absolutely, because it happens in different. I mean, obviously, it can't happen until the girl's junior year, but everybody happens at their own pace. I assure them, like, we're going to find you your right fit. It's just you have to be patient with. I mean, as much as you want to pick it for a coach, like, that coach might not be there. I mean, for example, like when I played at St. Francis, I played for 3 different head coaches. That's not always normal, but it can happen. And you have to pick the school because you love the school.
Okay, so now your 16U team, you had already mentioned you're coaching them. That team is really fun to watch. Tell us what excites you about that team going into the 2023 season.
Yeah, so the 16U team that I'm coaching is a mixture of 24, 25, and 26 grads. They're really hungry. They have great team chemistry, and like the fight that they show, like, I mean, we could be down in a game like by 3 or 4 runs, with our last at-bats coming up. And, I can just look at them and just tell them, like, show me what you got right here, and they'll come up and they will make some noise, whether they, get it done and, we get a win out of it, but, they never go down quietly. They're just a fun group to be around. They love the game. I just think that the team culture is just so special in this group. I really want to see each other succeed. And, I had a lot of fun coaching them this fall, and I'm just really excited for their future.
Okay, so we had mentioned Lauren, but you only know her as LB, right?
It's always been LB.
Okay.
Really, I don't know if I've called her Lauren that many times. If I called her Lauren, she probably thought she was in trouble. So.
Yeah. LB played on your 18U team as a 14-year-old. Like, what did you see in her at such a young age?
I just think, she had a undeniable passion for the game of softball, like her want to win and her work ethic. It was second to none. She was always in the gym or, getting private instruction, or, so much so that her dad built her a softball field out. Like, they have a lot of property at their house. So like she had a softball field like below their house where they lived, and like she would have these little, like, one of my biggest things of hers, like she would have these little net things like around all the bases, and she would like work on her pickoff throws or her steal throws, like go out by herself, like you never had to tell her to do anything. Like she was just one of those kids that was just like all in from day one. When I tried her out for my team, I literally went to her house, like to her private field, like for her tryout. Like, I just think like she just had that it factor, and I could tell from like a very young age that she had it. So.
Okay, so LB was a 2020 graduate at South Fayette. She did everything. She was National Honor Society, 4-year letter winner, all section, all state, all everything. She received a scholarship to play at James Madison University. Were there other schools interested in her, or what did she like about JMU?
Yeah, so ironically, Youngstown State was one of the schools that was interested in her. Also, Colgate was interested in her in New York. She went to a camp at Coastal Carolina. She went to some, a few other camps and stuff like that. But ultimately, JMU saw her in Virginia Beach, and they loved everything they saw about her there. And then, like, they invited her to go camp. She went to camp. Then after camp, obviously they loved everything there. Then they had her for a visit. And how they worked things, at that point was, basically she needed to like let them know if that's where she wanted to be. And then they would provide her an offer if, she basically said, that's the school for her, So that's kind of what happened and how her process kind of unfolded. And we actually were playing at like a team camp at Akron, and she had her visit like the day before, and she drove from her visit to the team camp at Akron to be there with the team. And like I knew the minute that I saw her, I knew that was her place. I knew that that's where, she was meant to be, and that she felt that way as well. So, you just kind of knew when you talked to her and saw her, like how much she just, really glowed about that place. So
and as a freshman, LB was the starting catcher for JMU. Did she get that right away, or did it take time for her to earn that?
So in the fall, like I mean, obviously she really had to work hard. There was another girl that had caught in the shortened COVID season the prior year that would have been a sophomore, but because of COVID and having the COVID year, she ended up, being the same year eligibility as LB. So, I mean, LB knew that she had to go in there and work, really hard. I mean, her goal was, to be the starting catcher out the gate. I believe that the first game of that season, of her freshman season, she did not start that first game. I think the second game of the season, I believe she got a start. And I think that she caught every single game other than like 2 or 3 games that whole season after that. Like, wow. She just, she really, when she got the opportunity, she like took it and ran with it and kind of just like, didn't really leave any other option other than her. And I know that like Odyssey Alexander was the main pitcher there that year. And, Odyssey just loved throwing to her. And then also Alyssa Humphrey, who was our freshman pitcher, who was Lauren's best friend there. She loved throwing to her too. Like, as so much as I was actually talking to our coaches, because I went and saw her play, and they were like, Richele, we can't even keep her out of the bullpen. Like, these pitchers just want to throw to her so much. Like, her legs, we need to keep her legs fresh, but she just wants to help them in the bullpen. Was a workhorse. She just, wanted to do it and wanted to be the best teammate and the best catcher for her pitchers, all the time.
So it's important for pitchers to have a good relationship with their catcher.
Yeah, for sure. Like, comfortability, just to be able to throw any pitch that you want to throw, any count, and just trusting that they're going to be there to have your back.
Yeah, for sure.
And she definitely had that bond with, her pitchers at JMU. She had her bond with, the pitchers that, were on our Team Pennsylvania team that she was on for years. I mean, her and Kylie Myers that threw for me were, very, very close, and they had that bond. And, she just made sure to really, have that bond with her pitchers, because she knew how important it was.
Right. Yeah, so that team made the Cinderella run in the Women's College World Series. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, when won their conference tournament, got the bid, went to the regional at Tennessee. LB hit a home run there in one of the games there, and then then they went to Missouri for a super regional, and won that super regional, and it was just insane. I just remember talking to her, all the way through it, and we still. We texted all the time and, talked all the time, and she was just like, this is unreal. Like, the feeling is unreal. Like, I just can't even put it into words. I followed every moment of their, postseason run, and it was exciting to, I just think it was just really cool, because the year before she was catching for me in all the tournaments that we do, and just to see her on the biggest stage. And I mean, that was always her goal. Like, she wanted to play at Oklahoma, and to achieve that and to be the starting catcher as a freshman is unreal.
So next season, she continued to play, at a really high level. She's batting over 300. She's leading. She's leading the catchers. She's doing her thing. Then on April 24th against Drexel, she went 4 for 4. And you had to correct me. She hit a home run with 2 doubles in that series as well. She was just playing at a very high level, doing great. And you had mentioned she just announced that she had won the CAA Player of the Week. So everything is going great for her. And then on April 25th, they found her unresponsive at her apartment.
Yeah, in her apartment. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wrap my head around that. I mean, she's living her dream. She's playing at an incredibly high level. One would think she's exactly where she wants to be. Who would have known? Then boom, she gets in a rut like that, and she just couldn't find her way out of it. And it's scary. It's scary that that's
for sure. And honestly, Bill, like, I don't think that I personally will ever be able to wrap my head around it. Her and I had just texted that day before, after she had that obviously monster game and weekend that she had. And, I just told her how proud I was of her, that day on the 24th, and how excited I was for her of, the outing that she had at Drexel and stuff like that. And, to get the news that, I got was devastating, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching. There's not really any words to really describe it, but yeah, I mean, for somebody to be, having the success that she was having, and obviously being on that high from that weekend, for that to happen, and for the circumstances around it, it's hard to put into words, honestly. Yeah. And without getting emotional, it's just, you don't know what somebody is going through, on a personal basis, and what they're fighting. Like, I was very close with her, and I saw no signs, I mean, I think that the biggest thing is, you never know. And, just try to be as kind as you can to, people when you're around them, and, cause you don't know what they're going through. And, make sure that you tell your loved ones you love them, tell your friends that you love them, and how much they mean to you. And, I know for sure, losing her has changed the way I have somewhat coached and somewhat, handled different situations, not on purpose, just kind of subconsciously. I don't know how to put into words, her loss is just devastating.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know LB very well. I just knew her from, had the opportunity of watching her when she played on your team. But I mean, it impacted me as well, and I just couldn't believe how something like that could happen. And after this happened, I know you've become more passionate about the mental health awareness side of it, probably more so than softball. And I know you do a lot with your team to spread mental health awareness, specifically in the game. And I know you do a lot with your team to make sure that they're spreading it as well. So you had mentioned to me about a bracelet.
Yeah, so actually, I actually wear it all the time. So it's this green one right here. So it says, your sisters have your back, and then it says you are not alone on the bracelet. And then on the inside of the bracelet, it says remembering LB number 22. So what we do is, after every game we play, we give bracelets out to the opposing team, no matter the outcome, no matter, win, lose, whether it was a very crazy game, whether, emotions got hot during the game or not, just understanding that things are bigger than the game. It's there's more to life than just softball. You know what I mean? You make these relationships, and understanding that you have people that you can count on, looking around, and whether those bracelets that we give out to the different teams and stuff like that, whether it helps one kid, they could look down at their wrist and it could help one kid. And you know what? I know that we made a difference if that's the case, right. Whether they picked up the phone and called their coach, or picked up the phone and called, a teammate on their team, or a high school team, or whatever, just the littlest things to, kind of, help make a difference and bring awareness, in a very subtle way, but a way that kind of, engages these kids. You know what I think that's really cool to me is we started doing it in the summer. We played some of the same teams in the fall, and those girls had those bracelets on. And to me, I could easily give those bracelets and they could just throw them in their bag or whatever, but right. They genuinely understood that they meant something. And that's kind of what was cool to me. And I've had numerous coaches asked me to like talk to their players like after the game. Like some of them obviously just gave them to the coach and, you know, explained to them a little bit about why we were giving them. But some of them actually asked me to like have a conversation with their team and it kind of explain why, you know, in as many words as I wanted to. And I thought that was cool. Like I thought it was, you know, given the circumstances obviously aren't great, but, you know, any bit of awareness you can bring, you know, for the cause at this point. I know that LB would be proud of what we're doing, and that means a lot to me.
Yeah, so. For sure. Yeah. So you had mentioned me about knowing your core four. I don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's something. So like, when all of this happened, like, I had a lot of sleepless nights, racking my brain about like what I could do and like how I could support not only her family, but, you know, just kind of try to bring awareness. And, you know, like I had tossed around for a little while, like potentially starting a nonprofit, which there are a few like nonprofits out there that do. I think one is called The Hidden Opponent. One is called Morgan's Message. So there is a few, you know, that are out there right now, you know, that are bringing awareness as well. And, you know, I had kicked it around and like, I was just kind of like, you know, jotting some stuff down in my like iPhone, like my notepad. And like, you know, I came up with like the thought, like, you know, you should always have like a core four, like 4 people, you know, that you can count on no matter the time, no matter the day, no matter the hour. Like, you know what I mean? Somebody that you can count on that, you know, if you need them and you need picked up, like, you know, like mentally, whether it's physically, mentally, whatever, like if you need to call and talk to somebody, like I feel like it's so important that like everybody should have 4 people in their life that they know that they can count on. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because if the first person doesn't pick up because they have X, Y, and Z going on, then you have your second, your third, and your fourth. You know what I mean? And out of those 4 people, like one of those people should pick up for you. You know what I mean? Like, and like I just think like, you know, and I know LB had people, like she could have called me and I would have gotten my car and drove to Harrisonburg. Like, sure. You know, she had her best friend that was, you know, obviously on campus, but like, just like having that established and kind of like, you know, knowing like, you know, if I'm ever in a situation, like, and I ever get so low or so to a place, like knowing that no matter what you said to that person, like, you can count on them and you can call them and they will be right there or at least stay on the phone with you, you know? So that's kind of like my reason behind that.
So you came up with this invitational that you wanted to host in memory of LB.
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of veered away from the nonprofit side of things just because like, I mean, obviously I run the organization and it's, you know, obviously time consuming in itself and just adding one more thing to my plate. Like I wanted, if I was going to do it, I wanted to make sure that I could do it the right way. And, you know, one thing that I knew that I could do the right way is to run an event. Like I knew that I could run like some sort of event, like in her honor, to like in her memory, you know? So I was talking with Phil Larseny's, who is a coach in our organization and is like one of my right-hand people that helps me out with a lot of stuff, uniforms, different stuff like that. And, you know, we were kind of trying to come up with something and they had been hosting some events, you know, last year they had started hosting a couple events at Highland Sports Complex. And he was like, well, what if we hosted a tournament? Like, and I said, that is a great idea. And we kind of just built off of it from there. Like, so, you know, we came up with a name for it, the LB22 Legacy Invitational. We got USA Softball to sponsor it so that it's a USA Gold qualifier. You know, and, you know, for a little while we were like handpicking some teams that, you know, had really kind of talked to, you know, like myself or even Kara Soraka. She had a couple of teams mention to her this past summer, like, you know, if we would ever do something like in LB's honor or whatever, they would love to be a part of it. One is that Lady Dukes team from New Jersey, and they're actually bringing their 16U and 18U team to the event. So, you know, we just wanted to do something to honor her and, you know, to kind of keep her memory alive. And
so what will the format be in the tournament?
It'll be a 4-game guarantee, 3 pool play into single elim. There's going to be 8 16U teams and 8 18U teams. We still have a couple spots open in each age group that we're looking to fill. The dates are February 17th through the 19th at Highland Sports Complex in Tridelphia, West Virginia, which is a state-of-the-art facility. Ceilings are very high. We can get we put fences up. Fences are 190 to 200. We get 2 fields in there. It's climate controlled, so it's not freezing. So it's comfortable to play in the winter time. So it's a good venue to host the event. And we're excited about it. So
yeah. So can you talk a little bit about the awards that you'll give out to the teams?
Yeah. So obviously there'll be first and second place awards for anybody that hits over the fence home run. We'll get a T-shirt. It's a T-shirt about hitting home runs, and then also the winning team will get a team bat as well. So, and then obviously the winning team for each age group as well will get a berth for USA Gold Nationals in Oklahoma City if they choose to accept.
Yeah. Then the other thing that's probably the most important thing spinning out of this is a scholarship fund in LB's name.
Yeah. So that was one thing that was really important to me. Like, I wanted to do something like in her name that, a giving back type thing. And so all of so obviously we have to cover our expenses for the facility, but any profit that is made is going into the scholarship fund, and we're using all of that to cover the scholarship. So we will be giving away 2 $2,000 scholarships. The criteria for those scholarships are the player must be a graduating senior, so a 2023 grad, and they must be committed to play softball at the next level. So whether they sign an NLI or they're committed to a school to play at the next level. And how we are going to pick the 2 winners is they are going to write an essay, which we've received a couple essays already, to the email address, which is the email address is LB22events@gmail.com. That's where the essays are being sent to. So basically the essays are, what does softball mean to you and how has it changed your life? So and that can be whatever you make it, and we are going to have like a neutral party read the essays and kind of select who they feel kind of embodies like a passionate softball player, and depending on what they feel, it's going to be somebody neutral reading the essays. I'm going to read them. I'm not the judge of them. One of the scholarships will go specifically to a Team Pennsylvania player. The other one will go to either somebody that is participating in the event or a Western PA softball player that's committed to play at the next level. I have discussed it with LB's parents as well, and they're very happy that we're having the tournament in her honor and awarding the scholarships in her name as well. So the deadline for the scholarship, we are gonna also at the event, we are going to remind everybody, that we're probably going to take essays still a week after the event, and then we'll announce on our social media the winners of the 2 winners of the scholarship.
So you had already mentioned what you do for mental health awareness at the field a little bit. I noticed that you and your team hang her jersey in the dugout when you play at the game.
LB was going to help me coach my team when she was available, outside of, whether she was taking summer classes or, obviously doing her own stuff, but she was going to give back and help me coach, in Team PA and with me directly. And, for me personally, it's very important that I hang her jersey. I kind of hang her jersey by my backpack in the dugout, whether that's for awareness or whether to me personally, I'm not sure. I think that it means a lot, and my team supports it. And I think that's the biggest thing is they know that it's important to me, and they understand why. So it's something that we do. And, one thing that people will notice is that nobody in Team Pennsylvania, will be wearing number 22 because we're retiring her jersey. Her parents do know this. Officially, it'll be retired at the tournament, but her parents are aware. So I'm not surprising anybody by saying this right now. Biggest way to honor somebody that was such a big part of this organization is to not let anybody wear that number again. And that was important to me. And the coaches in this organization stood by it and really respected that decision. And the players that had number 22 that were current players understood that decision, picked a new number, and respected that decision. And I think that just shows how tight knit we are, what a good family, Team Pennsylvania is in general, that they understood the why, and they didn't really question it, and I think that's what meant a lot to me. And I know that it means a lot to her parents, and to her family.
Sincerely, I know I've told you this before, but I respect everything you do for Team PA girls, and I'm incredibly thankful for what you did for Macy. I hope this episode puts a spotlight on who you are as a coach, a friend, and know that LB22 Legacy tournament will be what you want it to be. Being able to turn something so horrible into something positive is a testament to your character. And on behalf of this network and Team PA family and your hometown in Beaver County, I want to thank you for making mental health awareness a priority.
Yeah, and there's been days that it hasn't been easy, but, still put my shoes on in the morning and go.